Hello, 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 everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you. Welcome back to the last portion of Fragment 3, Reading The Voice of the Silence by Helena Petrovna Blavatsky, otherwise known as H.P. Blavatsky. So we're talking about the 7 portals and what you would need to do and attain to walk through these portals of enlightenment to reach nirvana, as Buddha did, as Yeshua did, as Saint Germain did, as Mother Mary did, and as all other ascended masters such as Kuan Yin. So we're going to finish the last section of this book, or the last section of this fragment of the book, and that will complete our book. If thou wouldest not be slain by them, then must thou harmless make thy own creations, the children of thy thoughts, unseen, impalpable, that swarm round humankind, the progeny and heirs to man and his terrestrial spoils. Thou hast to study the voidness of the seeming full, the fullness of the seeming void. O fearless aspirant, look deep within the well of thine own heart and answer. Knowest thou of self the powers, O thou perceiver of external shadows? If thou dost not, then art thou lost. For on path forth, the lightest breeze of passion or desire will stir the steady light upon the pure white walls of soul. The smallest wave of longing or regret for Maya's gifts elusive, along Antakarana, the path that lies between thy spirit and thyself, the highway of sensations, the rude arousers of ahankara, and that is the ego or sense of self. A thought as fleeting as the lightning flash will make thee thy 3 prizes forfeit, the prizes thou hast won. For know that the eternal knows no change. The 8 dire miseries forsake forevermore. If not to wisdom, sure, thou canst not come, nor yet to liberation, saith the great Lord. The Tathagata of perfection, he who has followed in the footsteps of his predecessors. Stern and exacting is the virtue of viraga. If thou its path wouldest master, thou must keep thy mind and thy perceptions far freer than before from killing action. Thou hast to saturate thyself with pure alaya, and that is a pure consciousness. Because become as one with nature's soul thought. At one with it thou art invincible. In separation thou becomest the playground of Samvriti, origin of all the world's delusions. All is impermanent in man except the pure bright essence of alaya. Man is its crystal ray, a beam of light immaculate within, a form of clay material upon the lower surface. That beam is thy life guide and thy true self, the watcher and the silent thinker, the victim of thy lower self. Thy soul cannot be hurt but through thy erring body. Control and master both, and thou art safe when crossing to the nearing gate of balance. Be of good cheer, O daring pilgrim, to the other shore. Heed not the whisperings of Mara's hosts. And as a reminder, Mara is basically that which kills the man's soul, the vices, the habits, the beliefs that kill man's spirit or soul. Wave off the tempters, those ill-natured sprites, the jealous Lamayan in endless space. Hold firm, thou nearest now the middle portal, the gate of woe, with its 10,000 snares. Have mastery over thy thoughts, O striver for perfection, if thou wouldest cross its threshold. Have mastery over thy soul, O seeker after truth's undying, if thou wouldest reach the goal. Thy soul gaze center on the one pure light, the light that is free from affection, and use the golden key. The dreary task is done, thy labor well nigh over. The wide abyss that gaped to swallow thee is almost spanned. Thou hast now crossed the moat that circles round the gate of human passions. Thou hast now conquered Mara and his furious host. Thou hast removed pollution from thine heart and bled it from impure desire. But, O thou glorious combatant, thy task is not yet done. Build high, Lanu, the wall that shall hedge in the holy isle. And the holy isle is the higher ego or thinking self. The dam that will protect thy mind from pride and satisfaction at thoughts of the great feat achieved. A sense of pride would mar thy work. I build it strong, lest the fierce rush of battling waves that mount and beat its shore from out the great world Maya's ocean swallow up the pilgrim and the isle, ye, even when the victory's achieved. Thine isle is the deer, thy thoughts the hounds that weary and pursue his progress to the stream of life. Woe to the deer that is overtaken by the barking fiends before he reach the vale of refuge, or Jnana Marga, path of pure knowledge named. And that's what Jnana Marga means, is the path of knowledge. Ere thou canst settle in Jnana Marga and call it thine, thy soul has to become as the ripe mango fruit, as soft and sweet as its bright golden pulp for others' woes, as hard as that fruit stone for thine own throes and sorrows, O conqueror of weal and woe. Make hard thy soul against the snares of self. Deserve for it the name of diamond soul, and diamond soul is character development or consciousness. For as the diamond buried deep within the throbbing heart of earth can never mirror back the earthly lights, so are thy soul and mind, plunged in Jnana Marga. These must mirror naught of Maya's realm elusive. When thou hast reached that state, the portals that thou hast to conquer on the path fling open wide their gates to let thee pass, and nature's strongest mights possess no power to stay thy course. Thou wilt be master of the sevenfold path, but not till then, O candidate for trial's passing speech. Till then, a task far harder still awaits thee. Thou hast to feel thyself, all thought. So that is the word all dash thought, all in capitalized letters. And yet exile all thoughts from out thy soul. Thou hast to reach that fixity of mind in which no breeze, however strong, can waft an earthly thought within. Thus purified, the shrine must of all action, sound, or earthly light be void. Even as the butterfly, overtaken by the frost, falls lifeless at the threshold, so must all earthly thoughts fall dead before the fane. Behold it written, ere the golden flame can burn with steady light, the lamp must stand well guarded in a spot free from all wind. And that is from the Bhagavad Gita. I hope I said that right. Exposed to shifting breeze, the jet will flicker and the quivering flame cast shades deceptive, dark and ever-changing on the soul's white shrine. And then, O thou pursuer of the truth, thy mind-soul will become as a mad elephant that rages in the jungle, mistaking forest tree for living foes. He perishes in his attempt to kill the ever-shifting shadows dancing on the wall of sunlit rocks. Beware lest in the care of self thy soul should lose her foothold on the soul of Diva knowledge. That's DEVA knowledge. Beware lest in forgetting self, all capitalized self, thy soul lose over its trembling mind control and forfeit thus the due fruition of its conquests. Beware of change, for change is thy great foe. This change will fight thee off and throw thee back out of the path thou treadest, deep into viscous swamps of doubt. Prepare and be forewarned in time. If thou hast tried and failed, O dauntless fighter, yet lose not courage. Fight on, and to the charge return again and yet again. The fearless warrior, his precious lifeblood oozing from his wide and gaping wounds, will still attack the foe, drive him out from his stronghold, vanquish him, ere he himself expires. Act then, all ye who fail and suffer, act like him, and from the stronghold of your soul chase all your foes away, ambition, anger, hatred, even to the shadow of desire, when even you have failed. Remember, thou that fightest for man's liberation, each failure is success, and each sincere attempt wins its reward in time. The holy germs that sprout and grow unseen in the disciple's soul, their stalks wax strong at each new trial. They bend like reeds, but never break, nor can they ever be lost. But when the hour has struck, they blossom forth. But if thou camest prepared, then have no fear. Henceforth thy way is clear right through the Virya gate. And the Virya gate is a spiritual life or principle of the universe. The fifth one of the seven portals, the Virya gate. Thou art now on the way that leadeth to the Dhyana haven, the sixth, the Bodhi portal. The Dhyana gate is like an alabaster vase, white and transparent. Within there burns a steady golden fire, the flame of Prajna that radiates from Atman. Thou art that vase. I apologize. Let me go back. Virya, I gave you a definition for Virya. That's not the definition. Atman is the spiritual life or principle of the universe. Thou hast estranged thyself from objects of the senses, traveled on the path of seeing, on the path of hearing, and standest in the light of knowledge. Thou hast now reached titiksha state, which is a forbearance, patience, or enduring hardship. O Naylor, thou art safe. Know, conqueror of sins, once that a Sawani hath crossed the seventh path. All nature thrills with joyous awe and feels subdued. The silver star now twinkles out the news to the night blossoms. The streamlet to the pebbles ripples out the tale. Dark ocean waves will roar it to the rocks surf-bound. Scent-laden breezes sing it to the vales, and stately pines mysteriously whisper, a master has arisen, a master of the day. He standeth now like a white pillar to the west, upon whose face the rising sun of thought eternal, poureth forth its first most glorious waves. His mind, like a becalmed and boundless ocean, spreadeth out in shoreless space. He holdeth life and death in his strong hand. He is mighty, the living power made free in him. That power which is himself can raise the tabernacle of illusion high above the gods, above great Brahm and Indra. Now he shall surely reach his great reward. Shall he not use the gifts which it confers for his own rest and bliss? His well-earned weal and glory, he the subduer of the great delusion? Nay, O thou candidate for nature's hidden lore, if one would follow in the steps of holy Tathagata, those gifts and powers are not for self. Wouldst thou thus dam the waters born on Sumeru, which is a mythical mountain considered the center of the universe? Shalt thou divert the stream for thine own sake, or send it back to its prime source along the crests of cycles? If thou wouldst have that stream of hard-earned knowledge, of wisdom heaven-born, remain sweet running waters, thou shouldst not leave it to become a stagnant pond. Know if of Amitabha, the boundless age, thou wouldst become co-worker, Then must thou shed the light acquired, like to the bodhisattvas twain upon the span of all three worlds. Know that the stream of superhuman knowledge and the diva wisdom thou hast won must from thyself, the channel of Alaya, be poured forth into another bed. Know, O Naylor, thou of the secret path, its pure fresh waters must be used to sweeter make the ocean's bitter waves, that mighty sea of sorrow formed of the tears of men. Alas, when once thou hast become like the fixed star in highest heaven, that bright celestial orb must shine from out the spatial depths of all, for all. Save for itself, give light to all, but take from none. Alas, when once thou hast become like the pure snow in mountain vales, cold and unfeeling to the touch, warm and protective to the seed that sleepeth deep beneath its bosom, 'tis now that snow which must receive the biting frost, the northern blasts, thus shielding from their sharp and cruel tooth the earth that holds the promised harvest, the harvest that will feed the hungry. Self-doomed to live through future kalpas, and kalpas are cycles of ages, unthanked and unperceived by man, wedged as a stone with countless other stones, which form the guardian wall. And the guardian wall, or the wall of protection, it is taught that the accumulated efforts of long generations of yogis, saints, and adepts, especially of the Nirmanakayas, have created, so to say, a wall of protection around mankind, which wall shields mankind invisibly from still worse evils. Such is thy future if the seventh gate thou passest, built by the hands of many masters of compassion, raised by their tortures, by their blood cemented. It shields mankind, since man is man, protecting it from further and far greater misery and sorrow. Withal, man sees it not, will not perceive it, nor will he heed the word of wisdom, for he knows it not. But thou hast heard it, thou knowest all, O thou of eager, guileless soul. And thou must choose, then hearken yet again. On Sowan's path, O Sratapati, thou art secure, I on that marga, and marga is another term for path, where naught but darkness meets the weary pilgrim, where torn by thorns the hands drip blood, the feet are cut by sharp, unyielding flints, and Mara wields his strongest arms. There lies a great reward immediately beyond. Calm and unmoved, the pilgrim glideth up the stream that to nirvana leads. He knoweth that the more his feet will bleed, the whiter will himself be washed. He knoweth well that after 7 short and fleeting births, nirvana will be his. Such is the dhyana path, the haven of the yogi, the blessed goal that Srotapatis crave. Not so when he hath crossed and won the Arihata path, and the Arihata path is from the Sanskrit Arhat or Arhan. There, klesa is destroyed forever. And let's see what klesa is. Is the love of pleasure or of worldly enjoyment, evil or good? Klesa. Tanha's roots torn out, and tanha's the will to live, that which causes rebirth. But stay, disciple, yet one word. Canst thou destroy divine compassion? Compassion is no attribute. It is the law of laws, eternal harmony, Alaya's self, a shoreless universal essence, the light of everlasting right and fitness of all things, the law of eternal love. The more thou dost become at one with it, thy being melted in its being. The more thy soul unites with that which is, the more thou wilt become compassion absolute. And compassion absolute. The compassion must not be regarded in the same light as God, the divine love of the theists. Compassion stands here as an abstract impersonal law, whose nature, being absolute harmony, is thrown into confusion by discord, suffering, and sin. Such is the Arya path, path of the Buddhas of perfection. Withal, what means the sacred scrolls which make thee say, Om, I believe it is not all the arhats that get of the nirvanic path the sweet fruition. Om, I believe that the nirvana dharma is entered not by all the Buddhas. And Buddhas, this is from Buddhas of Confession, Part 1. So this is a term that we used earlier in the book, and they're simply just reminding us of that down here. But actually, we do have a number. In the Northern Buddhist phraseology, all the great arhats, adepts, and saints are called Buddhas. Now bend thy head and listen well, O Bodhisattva. Compassion speaks and saith, Can there be bliss when all that lives must suffer? Shalt thou be saved and hear the whole world cry? Now thou hast heard that which was said. Thou shalt attain the seventh step and cross the gate of final knowledge, but only wed to woe. If thou wouldest be Tathagata, follow upon thy predecessor's steps. Remain unselfish till the endless end. Thou art enlightened. Choose thy way. Behold, the mellow light that floods the eastern sky. In signs of praise both heaven and earth unite. And from the fourfold manifested powers a chant of love ariseth, both from the flaming fire and flowing water, and from sweet-smelling earth and rushing wind. Hark, from the deep unfathomable vortex of that golden light in which the victor bathes, all nature's wordless voice in thousand tones ariseth to proclaim, Joy unto ye, O men of Mayalba! A pilgrim hath returned back from the other shore. A new Arhan is born. Peace to all beings. So the word Mayalba, let's take a look at that. Mayalba is our earth, pertinently called hell and the greatest of all hells by the esoteric school. The esoteric doctrine knows of no hell or place of punishment other than on a man-bearing planet or plane. And Avicii is a state and not a locality. I think that's another term for Mayalba. And then we have Arhan, which we're given a term for, which meaning that a new and additional savior of mankind is born, who will lead men to final nirvana, i.e., after the end of the life cycle. And then we end with peace to all beings. This is one of the variations of the formula that invariably follows every treatise, invocation, or instruction. Peace to all beings, or blessings on all that lives. I like that one. What a beautiful way to end this most magical and mystical book. It really truly felt like we are really unraveling something. And it seemed, though I was saying so many words, but it did seem like there was a sense of silence in it, if that makes any sense to you at all, because I felt a lot of peace in my soul when I was reading this. A lot of, just a lot of peace. That's the only way that I can describe it. I don't know how you felt listening to it, but from this end, even though reading it was somewhat difficult, it still felt very right in my soul. That's how I can put it. But this completes our book, The Voice of the Silence by H.P. Blavatsky. This is my first time reading anything by her. I think she has many more fragments and excerpts from this book and maybe some others. I just saw a comment from one of the viewers, that one of my subscribers, I believe, that loves Madam B is what she called it. And so I think there are other works of hers that she has placed out there. And I would like to look into those further. It would be really nice to learn a little bit more, read some more of her works. I don't think that there's a list in here, let's see, of any of her other works. It's very simple the way that this book is set up, almost so that you're not torn away from the book itself and what it holds inside. Yeah, nothing in here. You know how sometimes when somebody writes a book, they'll have their additional titles in the book, other things to look out for. So I wasn't anticipating this book to only take a handful of videos. I didn't realize that almost half the book is the glossary. So that's okay, though. There was plenty to take in this book. I would say plenty to chew on, think on, pray on, meditate on, because here's the book and here's the glossary, which a pretty good size glossary for this size of a book, if I do say so myself, but definitely learned some new words, some new ideas, and a lot of things to think on, a lot of things to examine. So obviously we will stop right there since we're done with the book, and I may be presenting one book that I've sort of been thinking of bringing to you guys. It's very different. Or maybe I will present a few books and you can let me know which one piques your interest. So until next time, until our next Let's Read segment and our new book, please take care of yourself. Please take care of those around you. And I will see you again for our next book that we will read together. I love you all very much, and I will see you all again soon. Bye-bye.